Some stories are scary because they're fictional. Others are terrifying because they're real, and still unexplained. Tonight, you will hear 3 horror stories. Each one is based on real events, witness accounts, or official records, and none of them have a clear explanation. Turn off the lights and listen carefully. Story 1. The Last Phone Call. In 2008, a 19-year-old college student named Daniel was driving home late at night. It was raining lightly, and the road was almost empty. At 1:17 a.m., Daniel called his girlfriend. The call lasted exactly 3 minutes. At first, everything sounded normal. Then Daniel suddenly went silent. His girlfriend said she could still hear breathing, slow, heavy breathing, and a faint sound, like footsteps on gravel. She kept asking, "Daniel? Are you there?" He never answered. The call ended on its own. 10 minutes later, police found Daniel's car pulled over on the side of the road. The engine was running. The driver's door was open. Daniel was gone. There were no signs of a struggle. No blood. No footprints leading away from the car. But his phone was still inside. The call log showed the same 3-minute call, but with one disturbing detail. The call didn't end because someone hung up. It ended because Daniel's phone battery died. Daniel was never found. Story 2. The Man in the Hallway. A woman named Laura moved into a small apartment in Chicago in 2015. The building was old, quiet, and cheap. On her first week, she noticed something strange. Every night at exactly 3:11 a.m., she heard footsteps in the hallway outside her door. Slow, deliberate. She assumed it was a neighbor. Until one night, curiosity won. She opened her door. The hallway was empty. No doors opening. No lights turning on. But the footsteps continued. They were now inside her apartment. She felt breathing behind her ear. Laura ran. Police later searched the apartment. There were no signs of anyone else being there. But security cameras showed something disturbing. At 3:11 a.m., Laura's door opened. And behind her, the hallway camera caught a tall, dark shape standing perfectly still. It didn't move. It didn't follow. It simply watched her leave. Laura moved out the next day. The building was later demolished. Story 3. The Emergency Broadcast. In 1997, several radio stations across the Midwest reported a strange signal. At exactly 2:03 a.m., normal programming was interrupted by an emergency broadcast. But it wasn't from the government. The voice was distorted, calm, almost mechanical. It said, "Do not look outside. They can hear you." The message repeated for 30 seconds. Then silence. Officials claimed it was a technical malfunction. But people reported the same thing. Dogs started barking. Car alarms went off. Power flickered. One man later said he ignored the warning. He looked out his window. He described seeing figures standing perfectly still in the street, all facing his house. When police arrived later, nothing was there. The broadcast was never officially explained. And to this day, some archived radio recordings still contain the signal. Story 4. The Room That Wasn't There. In 2012, a man named Eric checked into a small roadside motel in Nevada. It was a one-night stop during a long drive. The motel clerk gave him the key to room 209. Eric clearly remembers walking past rooms 201 to 208, then unlocking his door. That night, around 2:40 a.m., Eric woke up to a knocking sound. Not loud. Slow. 3 knocks. He assumed it was the wrong room. He opened the door. There was no hallway. Where the motel corridor should have been, there was darkness, deep, endless darkness. No walls. No lights. No floor. Just empty space. He slammed the door shut and didn't sleep for the rest of the night. At sunrise, Eric packed his things and went to return the key. The clerk looked confused. "There is no room 209, he said. Eric laughed nervously and pointed down the hallway. The clerk shook his head. That wing of the motel ended at room 208. They walked together. Room 209 was gone. There was only a blank wall. Eric still has the key. It says 209. Story 5. The Message from Tomorrow. In 2020, a woman named Rachel received a voicemail on her phone. The message had no phone number.
No timestamp.
Just audio. At first, she thought it was static. Then she heard her own voice. The voice sounded older. Tired. It said, "Rachel, if you're hearing this, it didn't work. You need to leave the apartment. Do not stay past Thursday." Rachel was confused. She checked the date. It was Monday. She laughed it off. On Wednesday night, something strange happened. Her lights flickered. Her phone battery drained from 80% to 0 in seconds. At 12:01 a.m., her phone turned on by itself. A new voicemail appeared. Same voice. Her voice. This time it said, "I told you not to stay." Thursday morning, Rachel packed her things and left. That evening, news reported a gas explosion in her apartment building. Her unit was destroyed. No one could explain the voicemails. Rachel no longer uses voicemail. She says she's afraid one day she'll hear her voice again. Some stories end. Others stay with us. And the scariest ones are the ones without answers.